Wayne Rooney versus Virgil van Dijk has entered what could well be a trilogy. Following their exchange at Anfield, Manchester United's record goalscorer has gone in again on Liverpool's captain, claiming he needs to ignore the outside noise and focus on performances. After that defeat at Manchester City left their title defence all but over. So first of all, Charlie, I'll come to you with that. You've played with Virgil van Dijk, you know him. By him reacting to the noise, is that showing good leadership or should he ignore it?
I think you can look at it both ways. I'd say good leadership, it's more protection towards his teammates and the football club, and being the captain, he wants to get his point across. On the flip side of that, you forget the outside noise, you worry about what we're doing as a football club and what we're doing inside the dressing room. So, like a rock and a hard place, look, he's come out and protected his teammates, protected the football club, he's the captain. But ultimately, you play for Liverpool, you're defending Premier League champions, and you're underperforming. So you're always going to have people say certain things about you, about the team.
Well, Sky Sports are partnered with Finalysis, which is an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their club. If you want to represent your club, you can go to the Sky Sports app for more details. And as you can see, we've now got all 10 representing their clubs today in the studio. OK, Lewis is an Arsenal fan, Lewis Anderson, so a Liverpool fan. So, yes, sorry, upset you both there, didn't I? Sorry, Lewis. It makes sense to start there with you on this one with Virgil van Dijk. What do you think of that?
Criticising Van Dijk is understandable, the way it's been going this season for us. In the first few games he was playing all right, but the results of the team, he's the captain. Criticising his performance is understandable, but when Rooney started saying, oh, since he signed this contract, he's switched off now, you're criticising his integrity, that's a different thing. That's not okay. Of course, you're going to want to say something back about that. And to be fair, it's not like he came out and had an argument with Rooney. I think it was not brave, but it was the right thing to do. Rooney was there on the interview, and after the game, he came out and faced up with him. But yeah, to criticise his performance so far this season is understandable. Even though I would say we've had a whole change around in defence. Both of our fullbacks are changed, and our goalie's out right now. So the only person who's been consistent within defence is Konate, who's playing like he's forgotten what his feet can do. So he does need a bit more help. He's getting older, but yeah, you can criticise him, but not his integrity. That's
Chris,
what I
obviously, Wayne Rooney's a Manchester United legend. What do you think about this one?
I agree, it should be less talk and more action. We've got to remember that Rooney comes from the era of Fergie, where you let the manager do the talking. The captain's meant to take care of things on the field and in the dressing room. So I think Van Dijk should have probably just focused a little bit more on that and not reacted to the noise.
Conor Holden, as a Chelsea fan, you've had some real leaders over the years. I mean, did John Terry used to wear that shirt that you've got on? I mean, a proper leader there. What are the differences between him and other captains out there today from this era?
I think there's not much between them in terms of like on field. He is unbelievable. John Terry was ahead of everybody in that sense. I think for me, he's the best captain there's been in the Premier League, purely for the fact that he was body on the line, lead by example, but also galvanised the dressing room. And I think it helped him that he had the likes of Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba around him as well, to not only be a leader just himself, but have that leadership group that then set the standard. And I think that's something that we're missing right now that other clubs have, is having that leadership group that can really galvanise the team through those tough moments. So it is massively important.
Tom, on that, and I think this is one of the big things also, is that it just proves you've all got platforms on your social medias, and you've come through Finalysis and all that kind of stuff. It just proves that football players listen to what certain people on social media, podcasts, ex-players actually say. So it is easy to say I should block out the noise. Like you said, Chris, I fully understand that, I'm fully with you. It's easy to say that, but when you play for the big clubs, and it's a very big talking point. We talk about Man United for the last 18 months for how poorly they've done, and fair play to Man United fans have had to front it, right? But that just shows how much the world and the media side is now taken into the dressing rooms, because you can't go anywhere without someone saying something, good or bad, about a performance that you've done.
But this leads us nicely on to our next debate this morning, which concerns the champions, Liverpool. Nearly £450 million spent in the summer, and, well, they're not doing as well as they would have hoped. That's the best way of putting it. Who's to blame for Liverpool's lacklustre title defence? Charlie, where do you think the blame lies? Or what? Who or what?
It's a tough one, because when you look at it, the way they played last year, it was more the consistency. Last year, and the winning games of football, yeah, played well at times, but they were consistent, they would get over the line. This time it's kind of got all the players in, and it's trying to fit players in the right positions. The struggle at the moment is trying to get Florian Wirtz in there, put all the eggs in one basket to try and get Alexander Isak. That was a long-winded thing throughout the summer. You get Hugo Ekitike in, nobody expected him to perform the way he has gone on to do, but then we leave ourselves short in the defensive positions. So I think it's a collective thing. Players underperforming, manager and the recruitment start. It's all about timing. I understand that Alexander Isak was number one target throughout the whole summer. We spent the whole time speaking about it. But as long as that went on, chess pieces moved, and Mark Gay was there to be taken after, not wait until 4 o'clock on deadline day.
Lewis, any blame on Slot?
There has to be. When everybody's playing bad, if it was one player, you could say, all right, he needs to do better. When everyone's playing bad, and it has to be on the manager. Obviously, we spent the money. I've been waiting for us to spend money like that for a long time. We did it, so I can't hide from that. But like Charlie was saying, we needed a lot of gaps filled. Obviously, Trent went, we needed a right back. Robertson's getting on, we needed a left back. We needed a striker, obviously, what happened with Jota. But we needed a defensive mid. We needed a centre back badly. How we let Gay get to the last day and then miss out on him is now we're paying for it now. So yes, it's Slot's fault, but also the decision makers who made the transfer decisions, whether that's Slot, the manager, all of them together. And Isak, obviously, we're not doing the pre-season thing, going on strike and that. He's hurt himself by not doing a pre-season because he ain't fit, and then he got a little niggling injury. He's not had a chance to get rolling. So putting his face there when it says who's to blame, it's harsh.
It's interesting with other clubs here. Ellie, your club had a great season last season, but sacked your manager the next season. Newcastle have had a good few seasons. This season hasn't started so well in the Premier League. Your manager's still there. Tottenham won a trophy last season, Alfie, but changed your manager. What do you all think as a collective? Should Arne Slot be under pressure, or having won the Premier League title, should he be given a lot of credit in the bank?
I think he probably should be under more pressure now because these are his boys. These are his signings, and it's the opportunity to show, what his recruitment's like, and then they're simply not performing. And I think as a Liverpool fan, I think I'd agree with him that Slot has to take some of the rap for it.
I would say that I think he definitely has got credit in the bank. He can win the Premier League, and you can have a slow start to the season. They can still win the league. They're not out of it yet. They definitely still can win it, but the amount of change that they've had in one summer, like you allude to, it was Klopp's team that he took over and won the league with. You can't say Chiesa, his only signing, made a difference. He didn't.
That's the thing, Matthew. That is the thing, and every football fan looking at it will say it was Klopp's team that he'd won the league with. But then it takes time. They've recruited fabulous players, right? Spent 450 million, like the figure is, and get them in. But it takes time for them, obviously, to fit in certain places. But when you are playing for Liverpool and you are defending Premier League champions, you don't get time. Alexander Isak come from Newcastle, played the Premier League for years. They don't, regardless of not doing a pre-season, you don't get time.
In terms of that argument, though, I think it's a bit unfair saying that yes, it's Klopp's team, because you're essentially saying by saying that anyone could have come in and won it with that team. You still have to set up every week. Still have to keep the players motivated.
That comes with it.
No, exactly. Win the league with that team. Have to get the best out of these players. Like Mohamed Salah had his best GA goal scoring season in the Premier League ever. It was Arne Slot who made that happen. Salah spoke about it after the season and said the reason I'm scoring so much is because the position I'm so high up the pitch. I don't have to run back, do as much defending. I think any Liverpool fan now saying Slot out, I personally don't understand. He has credit in the bank. He deserves, at least a few more transfer windows, make it into his team. Players are getting older. Van Dijk and Salah, we're maybe seeing the decline now. I don't want to say it too soon because it could turn around. But saying Slot out now after a little bad patch, it's way too soon.
Yeah, I'd
also like to know how much of that team is Slot's, because 450 million put into it, and they've changed so much, not only to do with the personnel but the structure. You've got the two fullbacks that were very progressive passers, they're now progressive carriers, so they're struggling to get out from the back. You saw it against City, they trapped Konate and just didn't let him play through. Then you've gone for two proper centre forwards when you've not really been playing with one last season. You were playing a little bit more with Luis Diaz, someone who could apply pressure from the front, and you've changed all the dynamics. And I think Slot, you've even seen when he's been worrying for results, he's actually reverted back to that last season's team, and he's took Wirtz and Isak out of the fray. So I do wonder how much of that recruitment is Slot's doing and how much is behind him, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I agree with you on certain parts of that, but I think the issue sometimes is that the referees and the people that's on the pitch are scared to make the final decision because of they think, we've got the safety net of the VAR. And I always go back, and the biggest thing for it all, I know we're going through this, was at the start of the season in the Fulham-Chelsea game. And Connor, you must admit, if you was at the game to see it, is when the young kid Josh King scored for Fulham. Let's be honest, that's not a foul. and that gets ruled. It doesn't mean we can all think, oh, maybe, but if it's against your team, I don't even think, nah, that's not a foul. That's given. Nobody's going, we need to go back for VAR. That was a pivotal moment for me that the referee should have stood up and been like, no, I'm sticking with my on-field decision. But because they have the safety net of VAR, then it brings in the rest of these problems.
But actually, Charlie, I know that you've had, the Victor Gyökeres one at Newcastle.
Yeah.
And you adamant that should have been a penalty. It wasn't given, and Howard Webb said it was the right decision not to give it. It's one of